Σου, Κύριε, φύλακιν το στόματι μου και θύραν περιοχής περί τα χείλη μου. Μη εκλείνει.
Everywhere I go today, I hear people expressing fear and discontent with the world. I hear people who are afraid for their children to grow up in this world, and they think the future looks bleak. Now, if we're comparing our modern world with America of the 1950s, then it's true. We've seen a serious decline in religious belief, a serious decline in morals and ethics. But in the history of the world, this is not something new. So let's try to get a little bit of the big picture. The first 300 years of Christianity, the Christians were persecuted. The government was pagan and hostile to them, and they lived in a world where violence and lewd sexual activity and abortion and injustice was everywhere, was the norm of society. And at this time, the apostles did not try to rally the Christians to make political improvements. The apostles enjoined the early Christians to watch over their own souls and to work out their salvation with fear and trembling. Now, after 311, when the Emperor Constantine legalizes Christianity, there's a couple 100-year process of Christianity and paganism kind of in competition with each other in the empire, and both influences are still strong, and some emperors are going back and forth. It's between the years about 400 to 600 that Christianity really takes root in the Roman Empire and becomes the guiding force of the Byzantine society. But that doesn't last, well, the Christian influence lasts, but the peace doesn't last that long because it's already there in the 600s that the Muslim conquest begins to encroach upon the empire, and slowly the empire is dwindling and people are afraid for invasion and captivity in their lives. And that continues until the official fall of the Byzantine Empire in 1453, when Constantinople falls to the Turks. And then historically we would say that maybe the Holy Christian Empire was moved to Russia. But even there you have the Mongol invasions, you have a variety of westernizing emperors and empresses who tried to squash monasticism and did not make a very healthy environment for spiritual life. And eventually you come to the communist regime and the persecution of Christians again there. So I'm not trying to get doom and gloom on you here. We have enough of that around us. But I am trying to show you that for most of the 2,000-year history of Christianity, we have had to stand on our own 2 feet. We have had to not blindly follow the world around us if we want to follow Christ. As Americans today, we expect everything to just sort of be given to us on a platter and be spoon-fed everything, and think that we can trust the world around us and that our media and our society and our politics will lead us in what is good, because historically America has been a Christian nation. But the time has come that we are now in a post-Christian nation, and we need to wake up and no longer follow our society blindly. We need to look to the saints, to the life of Christ, to the Gospels, and to the tradition of the Church to be our guiding factors, to be what forms us and informs us, and what will guide us in how we live. It's easy to be merciful and loving and kind and generous and all of these Christian virtues in a world where people are treating you that same way. Even as Christ said, what thank have you if you love those who love you? But to be merciful and gentle and forgiving and loving and charitable in a world that is cold and in a world that is not going to return those things to you, that is commendable, and that is a small heroic act. And Christ said that we, his followers, would be the light of the world. So we need to enlighten the world and not run away from its darkness. And he said that we are the salt, and we need to salt the world instead of expecting this world to salt us. This is the way that we can ensure that the next generation will have light in their lives, if we bring it, if we shine in this world. So may God help us all, help us to turn to him and find what we need in him, to look away from the world and look towards him. And we will find that in him, no matter how dark the world is, we will still have light. And if we allow him to, he will shine that light on the world through us.
Μη εκκλίνεις την καρδίαν μου εις λόγους πονηρίας του προφασίζεστε, προφάσεις εν αμαρτίες. Συνανθρώπης εργαζομένοι στην ανομίαν και ου μη συνδυάσω μετά των εκλεκτών αυτών. Παιδεύσει με δίκαιος εν ελέη και ελέγξει με έλεον δε αμαρτώλου μη λιπανάτω την κεφαλή.